Good morning. It is 10:03 a.m. on Saturday, May 20th, 2017. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Uh, so, uh, Recorded a longer than usual episode of talking about Survivor last night because Mike and I argued a bit more than usual. Not in any mean-spirited way, but it's funny because with that show, we're so usually on the same page that we're always a little bit disbelieving when we find that we disagree on something. We tend to go over it and over it and over it. It's kind of funny. So that happened. And I'm planning for Balticon, making other various little bits and pieces of getting ready for that and thinking about stuff. But I think the big focus that I want to talk about today is that yesterday posted the finale, the very last episode of a YouTube series called Carboys. And I think I've actually talked about this before, but it's finished now, and so I want to talk about it again. Now, what this show is would not immediately sound like something that I would be recommending to you in the way that I am this. But stay with me. It's on the Polygon YouTube channel. Polygon is a website that talks mostly about video games, some about movie and TVs and stuff like that. But it features two guys, Griffin McElroy and Nick Robinson, who do a variety of other things. The McElroys in particular do a number of things that I'm a fan of. My Brother and Me and The Adventure Zone and so on. And they also, these two guys do another podcast together called Cool Boys Inc. Or excuse me, Cool Games Inc. But this show, Carboys, really, as we begin it, it's just that there's this video game called BeamNG.Drive, which is essentially a car simulator, not like Forza or Gran Turismo or anything, because it doesn't really have much game to it. It's not like a racing game exactly. It's just a game that simulates cars with an intent to be as realistic as possible in terms of modeling damage and performance and everything like that. And then it's just a game where you can place them in all sorts of weird situations and wreck cars in interesting ways. Which seems like it could be fun to play around with a little bit, sure, right? But to sustain a whole YouTube show of just these two guys playing it, well, it doesn't immediately seem like something that would be super great. But here's what I'm going to tell you guys. It's super great. Now, if you start it to begin with, it's going to be mostly just, silliness, but fun silliness. These are two funny guys, and they talk about funny things as they find interesting ways to wreck cars in this game. And so I would recommend it as light popcorn information or entertainment, even from the very beginning. But when I say this show develops, you guys, it develops. It starts building its own mythology. It starts having continuity and narrative that they apparently just improvise as they discover more and more crazy stuff in this game. But it's just so satisfying at the end. It's really kind of incredible. And I think part of the genius of, I want to say the McElroys, but Nick Robinson is obviously, half of this show, this particular show also. So I don't want to, sap him of credit. But this show has what I love about the other McElroy shows, which is just they take something that seems like it would just be ordinary, and they turn it magnificent because of their creative genius. And so that's what this show is. And to hear them tell it, they weren't necessarily planning for this episode to be the last when they recorded it, but there's nowhere else they could go after this one. And so I would not tell you. If you started at the end, you would just say, this is weird. And it would not be meaningful to you. But boy, if you've been along for the ride. Whew. Carboys, you guys. Start from the beginning.